Indiana HC comes clean on locker room failure after Caitlin Clark misses fifth straight game for Sparks 9 games in 18 days. That's the stretch through which the Indiana Fever locker room has been navigating while the league keeps stacking fixtures in a tight run. The packed schedule complicates any hopes of Caitlin Clark making a swift return from a groin injury as the ghosts of inconsistency and discipline continue to haunt the team. Now, the Fever find themselves hanging precariously in the middle of the league standings, caught between flashes of promise and recurring setbacks. The Fever started on the wrong footing against the second-last team in the Western Conference standings on Saturday. An 89-87 score was a testament to the overtly confident locker room. With Clark benched for the fifth time in a row, owing to her left groin injury, the locker room slipped to a 2-point slump against the Los Angeles Sparks, and needless to say, head coach Stephanie White was not amused with the result. Known for her straightforward personality, White came clean on the team's failure in a post-game conference. "We did not do a good enough job of getting them out of there as quickly as we'd like to," White started. But, also offensively, their length affected us. Our decision-making wasn't great. We overpenetrated at times. We had some reads that were there that we didn't see. And that's an area we just got to continue to grow. The HC took the blame for the locker room's failure. White agreed that the Fever put in a labored shift against the Sparks and that they should have run with the game when they had the chance. Instead, their poor choices landed them at loggerheads with the Sparks. While the Fever had an upper hand in the first half, the Sparks finished strong to bring the score to 47-42. But what followed next was highly unexpected. While White wished the team to be more disruptive in terms of ball possession, Fever majorly struggled to find a continued rhythm in the game. After all, the team made a massive 10 turnovers in Clark's absence, and it felt like LA moved the ball too easily, White had said, talking about the team's inconsistencies. On the other hand, the Sparks handled the ball with Ellen and poise, making just 8 turnovers. The Sparks not only caught up in the deciding quarter, they also successfully managed to throw the Fever off track. While Azura Stevens' three-pointers and Dearica Hamby's two-pointer shots propelled the team to tie the scores, it was Kelsey Plum and Julie Van Loo that stole the spotlight and helped finish the third quarter with a single-point lead. While Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston did push the team in the final quarter, they crashed as Rakia Jackson and Azura Stevens had the last laugh. In such a scenario, could Clark's presence change the winds for the roster? We never know. But one thing is for sure, as a formidable force on the hardwood, the sophomore guard's contributions could have marked a significant difference in the team's standings. I don't know where we're going to be because Caitlin hasn't been on the floor. That's obviously a huge piece for us in what we do, head coach of Indiana Fever Stephanie White had said. The Indiana Fever completed the 10th game of the season without star player Caitlin Clark. The guard has been sidelined for the second time, owing to a left groin injury. While the team was displayed an inconsistent gameplay during Clark's earliest regular game absence, things were different this time. The Fever not only displayed more hunger in the hardwood, their combined efforts and determination were enough to solidify the team as the 2025 Commissioner's Cup champions. Needless to say, the Indiana Fever battled it out against 2 top-ranked teams in Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces, and emerged victorious. There was a visual shift in their identity. As a team that heavily relied on Clark to rally the offenses, the locker room adopted to the new conditions without their superstars' active presence. Ahead of the tip-off against the Los Angeles Sparks, head coach Stephanie White had addressed the team's progress. "I think we found a little bit more of an identity defensively with this group," White said. "We're continuing offensively to move the ball a little bit better, to find our spots individually, and I think that that's helped us." Unfortunately, the 3-game winning streak came to a halt as the team struggled to find momentum in the latest game. This loss comes as a reality check to the roster that has been missing the central piece. But as Clark continues to watch from the courtside, can Indiana Fever turn this loss into an opportunity to balance the statistic and move towards clinching another victory? As the third-ranked team prepares to face the newest team in Golden State Valkyries, things can go either ways for Steffi White's locker room. In the echoing silence of the locker room at Crypto.com social media, Indiana Fever head coach Christy Sides stood in front of her team. her voice steadier than her heart. The Fever had just dropped another gut-wrenching game to the Los Angeles Sparks, this time by a single possession, and the elephant in the room had grown too large to ignore. For the fifth consecutive game, Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation and face of a new WNBA era, sat out due to a nagging groin injury. Her absence wasn't just felt on the court. It pulsed through every huddle, lingered in every post-game handshake, and saturated the energy inside the Fever locker room. And now, with their fifth loss in 6 games, sides had finally reached a boiling point. Not with the players, not with the media circus, but with herself. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't just about missing Caitlin, she said, her voice raw. This is about leadership, accountability, and that starts with me. The cracks beneath the surface. For weeks, the Fever had seemed fractured, not broken, but something wasn't right. At some point, the military was quiet and the surface seemed to shrink. And now, that summer, this Fever had seemed fractured. Not broken, but something wasn't right. Chemistry on the floor was inconsistent. Body language on the bench told a tale of disconnect. And while fans and pundits alike debated rotations and injury reports, behind closed doors, coach sides knew there was a deeper issue festering. Clark's injury had unintentionally created a power vacuum. Without her lightning-quick transitions, floor vision, and contagious energy, the team lost more than just points. They lost rhythm, identity, belief. The remaining veterans and young talents struggled to step up, not due to lack of skill, but lack of clarity. Caitlin brings structure just by being on the floor, said Aaliyah Boston after the game. Without her, things shift, roles shift. And maybe we weren't ready for that. Sides agreed, but her post-game admission revealed something more personal. A coach's vulnerable truth. I got so caught up in managing minutes, game plans, and external noise that I forgot the core of my job, Sides told reporters. Not strategy, not X's and O's, culture. She confessed that, in Clark's absence, she tried too hard to micromanage the on-court product and not enough to empower the locker room. Meetings became more about matchups than mindset. Communication blurred. Trust quietly eroded. We talk a lot about grit and togetherness, but we haven't been practicing it like we should, Sides said, and that's on me to instill, with or without our star. It was a rare moment in professional sports, a head coach taking public responsibility for not just the loss, but the emotional condition of the team. Inside the locker room, multiple players described the atmosphere as confused and tight. While nobody pointed fingers, the tension had been rising over the past week, especially with the media's relentless focus on Clark's injury and when she'd return. Some players privately admitted to feeling caught in the shadow. Others were battling their own struggles, missed shots, mental lapses, fatigue from the growing spotlight. It wasn't a toxic environment, but it was disconnected. We needed someone to grab the wheel, said guard Erica Wheeler. Coach did that tonight. She didn't have to say all that, but she did, and that's leadership. What Caitlin Clark's absence reveals, Clark's absence did more than weaken the Fever's offensive flow. It peeled back the layers of a still developing team dynamic. Her presence had unintentionally masked issues: poor ball movement, inconsistent defensive communication, and lack of leadership hierarchy. With her sideline, those flaws surfaced fast. But her absence also did something else. It forced a reckoning, and it might be the turning point the Fever didn't know they needed. It's easy to ride the wave when Caitlin's dropping 25 and the arena's packed, Sides said, but real teams find their soul in the storm. This is our storm. The way forward, Sides outlined a renewed plan after the game: fewer tactical meetings, more honest conversations. The players will hold daily leadership huddles. No coaches allowed. To talk not just about plays, but purpose. Practices will prioritize communication and decision-making over drills. Roles will be redefined not by name recognition, but by effort and voice. And perhaps most importantly, Clark's return won't be rushed. Not until she's fully healthy, not until the team can stand firmly on its own foundation. We're not going to wait for Caitlin to fix this, Side said. We're going to fix ourselves so that when she comes back, we're stronger, not just better, but tougher, tighter.